After Skate 2 was released in 1987 for the Super Magazine 4, demand for a new skate game was high, and with Skate 3 the community finally got what they wanted. A hyper-realistic, polished skating game. The game was a massive success. People loved the realism of the game so much that numbers for other games like Second Life dropped by 173%. However, it also has some people who speedrun the game, using different techniques and tricks to finish the game as fast as possible. This is the story of their journey. This is the history of Skate 3 World Records. Only half a year ago, the official any percent world record was at 1:13:52 by a player named Maddie. He would basically start the speedrun at the very first mission and then try to only do those missions who bring many board sales, so that he would collect 1 million board sales as fast as possible, which will bring you to the end cutscene of the game. After working really hard on this route, Maddie could bring it down to this exact record, which he would set in 2016. His run would stay as the world record for over 3 years, and it seemed that no one would really beat it. But then this happened. Normally, you do tricks to gain points. The harder the trick, the more points it gives. Now, by doing tricks in a row, you can build up a multiplier that goes up to 3, meaning that you get way more points if you hold this multiplier up. So, what happened in Swag King 420's run? People needed quite some time to figure out, but about 2 weeks later, player DIZE finally understood the new glitch, which would now be called Infinite Multiplier. For this, you start your run, get into a ×3 multiplier, and then just keep doing hippie jump 180s back and forth while doing a high pump gesture. Now, for some reason the game will get confused and keep raising the multiplier with each hippie jump 180. So even though it only says ×3 on the screen, your multiplier can go up to infinity. Now, for some reason, normal tricks won't be affected by this infinite multiplier. However, if you do a fakie ollie and then a 180 foot plant, the points for this exact trick will be counted. This was an insane discovery, and fast people started to run the any percent category again, but this time doing this exact glitch to complete point missions much faster. It's also worth mentioning that most people play the game on the Japanese version of the game. Not because there are any text boxes that will load faster, but rather because playing the game on the Japanese version makes the loading screens 4 times as fast when spamming triangle. With this new method they could bring the world record down to a time of around 40 minutes. This was until an even faster glitch was discovered, the Kill Challenge glitch. When you do missions or challenges in Skate 3, there are 2 ways to complete it. You can either own a challenge or kill a challenge. Now, killing a challenge is often much harder and requires to do a harder trick, but also rewards you with more board sales, so bringing you closer to your goal of getting 1 million board sales. Obviously, runners will try to kill every challenge they can as long as it doesn't take too much time and gives enough board sales. But in November of 2019, player Cowplex was working on a way to skip the very first introduction challenge, since they take really long, but what he found would change the speedrun forever. So, what happened? Basically, you skip the very first follow mission by speed glitching to the side and pausing the game at the right moment. This cancels the very first challenge, as well as the mini challenges and the park building tutorial. So when you now go to the very first real photo challenge, the game gets confused because it still thinks that you're in the first follow mission. This is due to certain bits ending up in the wrong transistor in the hardware, which causes a stack overflow. So now you just have to hit any other person or a skater, and the game will recognize this person as a new skater that you're supposed to follow. The thing is, when you hit this person, the game thinks that the skater stopped skating and that you're finished following them and gives you a kill for the mission. The community was hyped. More and more people started to run Skate 3 any percent, and the world record came down to around 25 minutes. But it wouldn't take long until people would find an even faster way of killing missions. Since Skate 3 is from 2010 and made by EA, the code of the game was kept relatively simple. Therefore, naming your character a specific name could change up the code of the game so that your skater would be a lot smaller or the wheels of the board would be missing. People always knew about this exploit, but never would have thought that this could one day be used for speedrunning. But in December of 2019, player Ghosty Toast found out that if you name your skater R1SE4LIF3, it overrides the code of the game in such a weird way that you would kill a mission simply by getting off your board once the challenge starts.
Oh, nice. All right.
On the Skate 3 speedrunning Reddit, Toasty Toad wrote, "Yeah, basically this game is the most broken thing I have ever seen in my life. It's actually quite depressing if you think about it. Like, why do we play this garbage? I could definitely invest my time in something better, like playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. With the new glitch, the game was brought down to around 17 minutes by player Alcoholic.
Imagine being this guy's neighbor,
But many people claimed that Alcoholic spliced his run, to which he replied saying that he would never do something like this. However, many runners didn't like the glitch, therefore the one was split into two categories: default any percent and R1SE4LIF3 any percent. But as you might have already guessed, it wouldn't take long for a new exploit to be found. In January of 2020, player Syphilis, who was formerly known as a realistic player, tried what kind of reaction Skate 3 would give to having two controllers connected at the same time. What he found was groundbreaking. He found out that for some reason having a second controller plugged in messes up the files of the game so that it can give you wrong rubs whenever you teleport to a challenge. Syphilis was nice enough to have a small interview with me about this exact glitch.
It's really easy. It's a warp glitch, right? Like you gotta have two controllers in at the same time. You gotta start up a death race, like the second death race, okay? And then you want to be warped to the fifth challenge using this controller that you have plugged in. It's kind of weird where it involves math as well, because you gotta put your right stick to the right, and you gotta set it to a 64 degrees, and it's 2 to the power of 6. The fifth one, if I did a fifth challenge, it'd be 25. If I did 6 to the power of, it's 36. Anyways, for some reason, it just fucking warps you to anywhere you want to, as long as you think of the number in your head. This game's psychological, I swear to God.
Now, the question is, how can this be useful for the speedrun? After many weeks of trying out different things, we will now get to the final speedrun. Here is the Monster Jam warp. This run was theorized by a group of people called the Judos, which had people like Syphilis, Cowplex, DIZE, X7 Alberto, Swag King 420 and Posty Goat in it. And after many tries, the player DIZE then got this run.
You ready? Follow me. You okay?
Yo, check this out, man. This is what we built. Look at this line. All the who's.
As you can see at the very beginning, he backwards mans speed glitch to the side, then pauses the game to cancel the first follow mission. He then does a glitch that is known as a super stop. This is only possible on the PS3 and Xbox 360 version of the game, not on the Xbox One or the Sega Mega Drive version. For this glitch you need 5 frame perfect inputs of tapping X while doing a nose manual power slide at a specific angle. This will shortly freeze the game and bring him to a full stop so that he is now able to do another backwards man speed glitch to the other side over to the CPU park. He then enters and gets wrong warp to the Monster Park Jam, which of course is only possible by using a second controller. However, the input to get wrong warp to the Monster Park Jam is impossible with a normal controller. Therefore, DIZE made use of a Wii wheel as a second controller, a golden Wii wheel to be exact. This was only released in Japan for platinum members of the Nintendo Club and is the only Wii wheel variant that is capable of giving the needed input for this wrong warp. As soon as the Monster Park Jam starts, he then just quickly needs to get off his board to kill the challenge. Now, since the game has no idea where you are in terms of progress, but you just complete the last challenge of the game, it assumes that you just must have 1 million board sales. Meaning, as soon as the Monster Park Jam challenge is killed, you get 1 million board sales and the game is finished. After months of dedication, countless hours of speedrunning, doing glitches and theorizing, this is where the world record stands today. It was brought down from over 1 hour to just below 30 seconds. The progression of speedrunning a hyper-realistic skateboarding game shows not only how genius players can be with finding new tricks and glitches, but also how much dedication can be put into one game. This has been the history to speedrun this game as fast as possible. This has been the history of Skate 3 World Records. Thanks for watching.